It should be no secret by now that I went through and cataloged, digitized, whatever you want to say, my entire wardrobe, and I have been talking about it ad nauseum for the last 6 months because that's about when I started this journey 6 months ago. And if you didn't already know that, you might be new here, so you might want to hit the subscribe button. We talk all things sustainability over here, and I want to talk about how tracking my wardrobe has completely changed my relationship with my clothes. And I think because of that, I hate to use this type of terminology. There are only a few things in life I would use this for, but doing that genuinely changed my life. Before I did all of this, I don't think I really wanted to admit how much what I was wearing and the clothing that I was buying impacted my view of myself, my confidence of myself, but it truly did. And so being able to kind of mend and change and truly analyze that relationship has changed a lot of those things within me. So that's why I've been gushing about it for the last 6 months. Going through and cataloging my wardrobe was really eye-opening, but tracking my clothing, my outfits that I was actively wearing can help me analyze a few things. And one of the most important things I wanted to learn from tracking my wardrobe, and one of the biggest takeaways I want to talk about today, is cost per wear. We'll get into all of those things in today's video and more. I'm going to be brutally honest about what is in my closet, what I've been wearing, what I've spent over the last 6 months. It's going to be quite eye-opening. I am a little bit scared, but I want to know, am I actually using my wardrobe? What do I reach for the most? Do I even need all of these clothes? Spoiler alert, the answer is likely no. We can predict that before we even take a look at this, all right? Let's get into how it has changed my habits, the numbers of it all. I'll be very transparent with you, which is, again, terrifying to me. And one of the takeaways I learned just after cataloging everything and how that changed the way that I'm shopping. So anytime I get or make something new, I try to immediately put it into the app so that I can start styling outfits with it. Sometimes I would thrift something that I didn't know how to style or how it fit into my wardrobe. And one of the things I can do with this, ever since I've digitized my wardrobe, is I can look at the thing that I'm thinking about buying with my entire closet in my hand. So if I'm trying to think about if I buy a denim jacket that has immaculate, incredible embroidery on the back of it, I can create 3 to 5 outfits in the thrift store before I buy it to make sure that it actually fits into my wardrobe and can be utilized in that way. And secondly, that's the reason why after I do purchase something, I will immediately go in and make a few outfits with it so that they're there, ready for me. If I have an occasion coming up and I don't know what to wear and I'm sitting in bed being anxious about what I'm going to wear, that happens to me a lot, I can literally just go into the app and create outfits. So it turns out, all in all, I own 376 pieces of clothing, although this includes accessories, bags, etc. When I come in here to look at the composition of my wardrobe, of everything I own and have cataloged, it honestly has changed a bit over the last 6 months, because one of the most jarring things about my wardrobe when I first looked at this page 6 months ago was how high the tops percentage was and how incredibly low accessories were. I had almost no accessories. I had literally no bags and no jewelry either. And when I looked at that versus the things that I was pinning versus the outfits that I actually like to wear, I realized I was lacking completely in the things that would make an outfit that I would want to wear. And it says that right now, tops still make up 38% of my wardrobe. But seeing that it's like 40% compared to everything else still feels a little high to me, but we'll get into what all of it means after. Let's just go through what the percentages are. Bottoms make up 19% of my wardrobe. Accessories now make up 14% of my wardrobe. Jewelry is 11, outerwear 6, shoes 5, which feels a little bit low, but anyway. And one pieces, which for me encompasses mainly just dresses and a couple pairs of overalls. And bags make up just 3%. So within those percentages means I own 144 tops, which is too much. But of course the question is, do I wear all of them? And the answer is absolutely not. Obviously, I don't need any more tops. Another couple interesting statistics just here in the composition is the colors. I always knew that the majority of my clothes were either like a brown or tan of some sort, white, and then I think the biggest numbers after that would be green and blue. This is showing that that is true, that my biggest numbers are all the neutrals, and then the 2 colors that are the highest numbers are green and blue. But the colors only told me what I feel like I already knew. One of the most incredible takeaways from looking at all this data was that 95% of my wardrobe is secondhand, which I love that this app allows you to track that. I'm not sure if any other outfit cataloging wardrobe apps do, but I really love that this one does, because I've always said that like 90% of my clothing was secondhand, but I didn't have a way to really know that for sure until looking at it now. And I'm pretty proud of that. This piece is really interesting. It's the longevity of the things that are in my closet. Now, obviously, this is a bit skewed because I cataloged everything that I owned, and I don't really have dates for everything that's in my closet. I don't know the exact dates or even really guesstimated dates of when I added things to my wardrobe. I went through a few things that I did know and I could recall and like put that in there. But for the most part, the things that have been added over the last 6 months are the things that are actively being tracked. So there's not really an undefined category here in the longevity. If I wasn't able to go through and put a date next to the item, then it's just not even captured in here. So it looks like 65% of my wardrobe was purchased within the last year. And I do still think that that number is probably the biggest number of my wardrobe, but it doesn't encapsulate all the things that I have that are older. There is something to be taken from that as well. I, for a long time, was trying to figure out how to dress in a way that made me feel comfortable and confident, but I wasn't getting there until I started doing this. Now I finally feel like I'm getting there. So it did feel like my wardrobe was a pretty constant in and out process to the thrift store, from the thrift store kind of thing. And I hope to change this number in the future. Then I came to the usage part, and this is where things felt a little bit weird for me, because it said that my top worn color was gray. And honestly, I hate gray. I hate to wear gray. I honestly avoid it at all costs, in a sweater, in a shirt, in bottoms. I just don't like the color gray. I don't find it to be a useful color in my wardrobe. So when I saw that the most worn number of wears was gray, I was like, how on earth is that possible? I went over to my items and sorted by gray, and I only own like 6 items that are gray. It doesn't make any sense to me. But the answer is my most worn hat. I wear it a lot. I'm very serious about sun protection. It's my Smokey the Bear hat. I wear it a lot. So I guess that's how gray ended up being the #1 color I wore in the last 6 months. But the second most worn item are my basic denim shorts. And then the next most worn item is my Bumblebee gold chain necklace, because it can go with anything. Who's surprised? Not me. It says that over the last 6 months, I have utilized 50% of my wardrobe, which to me sounds pretty good, because I feel like I've gone out of my way to start digging out old things because they are digitized and making outfits out of them within the outfits part of the app. So I do think I've actually worn more of my wardrobe because I've been tracking it than I would have otherwise. But that also means that within the last 6 months, 50% of my wardrobe has gone completely untouched. And that is not great. And I will continue to explore what that looks like after I've done this for a year. 6 months is a pretty good sample size, I would say, but a year will really give us the full bird's eye view. So if you want to see that video, let me know. But there are a few themes here that I'm taking away from why I didn't wear some of these things. #1 being sweaters. I just own way too many sweaters for a girl who lives in Austin, Texas. I need to stop romanticizing sweaters, because realistically, like, there are only a few days out of the year that I get to wear them. And with that in mind, I feel that I should focus more on finding my dream sweater instead of settling for other sweaters that I end up having a lot more of, because none of them are really hitting that mark for me, if that makes sense. My dream sweater is really like a cotton yarn, not a wool yarn, and it's a vintage style, or like a very detailed style, and finding those things in plus sizes are nearly impossible. So it's a little bit sad that I realized that that's the reason I have so many sweaters. I love the idea of them. I would love to be a girly who could just pop on a sweater, but unfortunately I am a Texas girly, so those two things don't go together. Also, fall things. Like, I feel Texas used to have a fall. Honestly, up until the last few years, I feel like it wasn't cold, but it was cool enough to where you could wear a light jacket in the mornings or the evenings. That just doesn't really exist for us anymore. Owning so many fall colored things and things that are really meant for fall weather doesn't align with my reality, and I need to reckon with that, is what I've learned. I still think that there is room to analyze this further after a year, because I'm sure there are plenty of things in here that I just don't need to keep because I won't be wearing them. And that is actually one of the probably most helpful things about tracking your wardrobe in this way, is that after 6 months or a year, you can actually say, oh, I literally have not touched that. And then you can consider if you actually need to keep it. Most likely the answer is no. And it helps you understand what you don't need to buy any more of, because you can see so clearly the things that you are not using. I do love that I can see my most repeated outfits. I do love that I can see my most worn items, and I can scroll back through the months in my phone to see what outfits I was wearing and how many days in a month I actually put an outfit together. You can see some months are higher than others. Like, what month was that? January? Your girl was wearing an outfit every day. I think I actually started tracking how often I was wearing my sweatpants. My thought process was kind of like, should I be investing in the things that I'm actively wearing every day instead of just buying like the cheapest, like kind of low quality items or whatever I can find at the thrift store for sweatpants, or is it worth investing in like a sustainable brand for it? I think that's kind of what this was about. But I do love looking back at this and also conceptualizing, okay, Shelby, you think you need to put together this like show-stopping outfit, and like realistically you don't have events like that for. Most days I'm just in bike shorts and like a big t-shirt if I'm writing things or drafting something, editing something. A lot of my job is off camera, so I'm just like not really wearing a full outfit for that in my home. It has also really helped me understand what my wardrobe is for and what it's definitely not. But my biggest takeaways are, I own more than I need. We already know this. I'm not really a staples girl. I will put together like a few key outfits that like are easy to throw on, and I will go back to those outfits, but I don't feel like I have stapled tops like we saw. I have a staple hat, a staple necklace, a staple pair of shorts if you want to say that, but like as far as tops go, I don't repeat them hardly at all. Thrifting is the move. It's very budget friendly, it's sustainable, it makes my cost per wear really, really low. And another takeaway I've learned from all of this is I am a fashion girly. For better or for worse, I do care about what I wear. What I wear does impact how I feel about myself. Whether or not I like that fact is true, and I should dress accordingly. If what I'm wearing is truly going to impact the way I show up in the world, I need to be conscious of that and wear the things that are going to make me feel like I can show up as my full self and not hold back because of what I am wearing. I say that because I'm very involved in my community, and the only reason that I am able to be as involved as I am is because I am consciously making the efforts to push past my social anxiety, to push past my introvertedness, and if my clothing is another barrier that I have to push past, it's not helping me build community, it's not helping me interact with people who are my neighbors, who I have to because I'm part of the government here in Austin. It's not helping me run my neighborhood association. It doesn't help me when my clothing is something else I have to push past, feeling like people are judging me for, feeling like I'm not showing up in the right way. As much as I wish clothing and like fashion and consumerism wasn't part of the way we communicate who we are to the world, it is. You can do it sustainably, but I have to be more mindful of it in that way. All in all, I'm so glad I did this. Tracking my outfits for 6 months has been life-changing. I can only imagine how I'm going to feel after a year. So many people had told me that they have tracked their own wardrobe since I did it, and I've talked to several people in DMs about how it has been life-changing for them. This has really helped me understand my habits and helped me be more sustainable. But the most sustainable thing about doing all this is that I actually in 2025, in the last 3 months, the first quarter of the year, have only spent $62 on adding anything to my wardrobe. And to me, that is the most sustainable thing I can be doing, is figuring out how to utilize what I have and how to add things that help me utilize what I already have, and not just buying more and more things because I feel like I don't have the right thing. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye, guys.